Welcome to my session with Gracey. This is day 1, and my goal with Gracey, this 40-year-old donkey, is to teach her to follow a handheld target for leading her from place to place. I'll keep the original sound in the background so that you can hear when I reinforce her with a click. I used a clicker, a low sugar reward, in this case, haystack berry treats, and protective contact. In step 1, I'm introducing the sound of the clicker. I'm introducing her to the fact that the sound of the clicker will mean that food is coming. At this stage, I feed and click. The position of her head is not important yet. Feed, click, repeat. I move my body position so she starts to recognize that this is not a factor in receiving food rewards. In between giving her food rewards, I return to neutral as she's chewing. I notice that there are a couple of things here that could use improvement. I could feed smaller pieces of food. I struggle a little bit with finding smaller pieces so that she's not chewing for so long in between clicking. And my hip pack and gloves and cold weather make it a little bit difficult for me to retrieve the rewards efficiently. Have you noticed that I'm trying to make it very obvious that the food is coming to her? I reach my outstretched arm toward her. I feed her with her head in a centered position. And this avoids the need for her to bring her head into my space to get the food. The next stage here is that I wait for her to return her head to a centered position before I click and feed. I want her head away from me. I want her head in a position in front of her chest. At this point, I switch to clicking and then feeding. She's beginning to understand that the sound of the click means food is coming. So I click, feed, return to neutral while she chews, and wait for her head to turn away from me to a centered position, and then click and feed. Notice that I'm in a neutral position as I'm waiting for her to finish chewing, and as I'm waiting for her position to return to a place where I feel I can give a click to give her the answer that she's doing the right thing. There are no other hand movements, and I don't have my hand in my pocket or in the reward pouch before I click. I want to make sure that I reward her when she's showing relaxed behavior. I ignore any attempts of her mugging me or putting her head in my space. I just wait for her head to return to a centered position. I must be quick so I avoid her trying other behaviors to get at food. Pawing, for example. I need to remember to bring the food to her so she only receives and eats it in the centered position. Now it's time to clearly mark the end of the game. While she's still chewing, I grab a large handful of reward and place it in front of her on the ground. I could also use a feed pan or a bucket. I wave both of my hands gently back and forth next to her face as she reaches down to eat and say, "Game over." Then I walk away so she can finish eating. It's very important that I clearly mark the ending of the game in this way, in this very same way, every time.